Welcome everybody, my name's Wendy Lehman. I'm a fashion stylist and personal shopper, and this is another in my series of videos, Fashion in the Time of Corona. I want to say before I get stuck into the fun part that I'm not in any way trying to trivialise what's going on outside at the moment. I'm fully aware that the world is going through a terrible time, and that this might feel a bit frivolous to people. That's not my intention. My intention is twofold. One is that I think it's really important for people to, even though you're stuck at home, for people to get dressed in the morning. I'm not suggesting you walk around in power suits, but dressing properly and appropriately for the day at home is going to make you feel much better. Fashion is a real wellness tool, and it's also going to exude a sense of confidence to the people around you, especially if you're home with young children, not really small children who I guess don't quite understand what's happening now, but certainly children who are a little bit older, who must be feeling a real sense of insecurity, and even if they can't articulate that, must be wondering what's going on. And if they see the adults in their world around them looking in control, it will for sure make them feel better, and as I said, make you feel better too. And the other reason for doing this now is that we've all got far too many clothes, actually, and we often put off editing our wardrobes because it's hard work, or because we haven't got time, or because there are a million other things to do. So if you are home now and you have got the time to do this, do it. Once we come out of this, I think everybody will feel that they want to spend more wisely initially. And so knowing what the gaps and overlaps are in your wardrobe is going to help you do that. And the other thing is that even before all of this started, there was a real drive to encourage people to engage in sustainable fashion. And sustainable fashion means not buying stuff that doesn't work for you, that hangs in your wardrobe for months or years with the label on, and then you get fed up of seeing it there and give it away. Sustainable fashion means investing in stuff that you're going to get real use out of, that works for your style, personality, for your body shape, and that means you've spent money, invested money in an element in your wardrobe that's really going to get some use. So that's the reason for doing all of this at the moment. The other quick caveat is to say that I work in two countries. I work in Israel and I work in London in the UK, and right now I'm self-isolating in Israel. So this is my Israeli wardrobe, and as a result is geared to my life in Israel, which, so if I say things like this will work really well on the beach, I apologise if if you live in Canary Wharf and this doesn't make any sense to you. I'll try to keep it more general, but I'm, this is my wardrobe here, and so a lot of the stuff is going to be heavily into hot weather clothes. I'll try at least to remind people that that's good for holidays and that kind of stuff, so maybe it feels a bit more relevant. And the other thing to say is that obviously this is my wardrobe, and so hopefully everything, but almost everything certainly, is going to be my style, personality and my body shape, and so isn't necessarily going to be entirely relevant for you. Again, I'll try where I can to relate it to other style, personalities and other body shapes. But I would really, really encourage you, if you've got questions, if you want to know how this might relate to you, send me a picture of yourself and ask the question, whatever. However you want to get in touch is good. And I'll either answer you privately, or if enough people ask the same questions, I'll do a short video about that. So please feel free to stay in touch. Okay, so I'm going to start now on the whole shoe issue, and I'm going to start with boots. Full-length boots to start with. I only have two pairs of full-length boots here, and I'm going to show you both of those. The first is a fun welly. The reason for this here is because when it rains in Israel, it absolutely chucks it down. And so if I'm out and about working, I need something that's completely waterproof, and a fashion boot doesn't always cut it. So this is a fun welly. It's got a bit of a rise. I think you can see that. The light's not wonderful, but there we go. It's got a bit of a rise. I'm not a lover at all of heeled boots of any sort, high-heeled boots of any sort. Certainly not for full-length boots, and actually we'll come on to ankle boots next time, but also not really for ankle boots. So this is about as high as I would ever go. And I don't like thin heels on boots because I feel it looks really disproportionate with the amount of boot that is above the heel. So, you know, dressing well is, a lot of it is about proportion, and it's about your body proportions with the things that you're wearing, and it's also about the proportions within the individual garment. And sometimes, if you have certain style personalities, you can do really oversized stuff or very dramatic stuff, but it still has to be, there still has to be a sense of proportion. And in a boot, something that's got a very high heel with then a lot of boot above it very high thin heel, can end up looking a bit disproportionate. So I don't like them, and I would encourage women of a certain age not to wear high-heeled boots because I think it can cheapen your look, and that's not what you want. So I would never go any higher than this. I would never go any thinner than this on a full-length boot. And if you, I mean, in London we do get heavy rain, but we don't get heavy rain in London the way we get heavy rain here. I think your wardrobe can manage without a fashion welly in London, but in New York where it rains like that, and certainly here, I think a fashion welly is a really, really good buy. My other full length boot is this. It's suede, so this definitely doesn't come out when it's raining. It's over the knee. Over the knee boots have been around for a good 3 years now. I don't know whether we're going to see them next winter. I'm hanging on to it for the moment, but I am aware that it might not be on trend by next winter. And if it's not on trend, it's one of those things that looks old-fashioned. So, you know, there are some things that, even if they're not on trend, certainly once you get to a certain age, you can carry on wearing. You don't have to wear high fashion when you're, you know, all the time. But certain things look dated as soon as they go out of fashion, and I think over the boots falls into that category. So bear that in mind if you have got over the knee boots. If you have got over the knee boots, keep an eye open for next winter as to whether or not they're on trend, so that you don't end up looking old-fashioned. Again, this has got a chunky heel, bit of a rise. I wouldn't go any higher than this. It's black, so it goes with quite a lot of things, but it doesn't go with everything. And a real gap in my wardrobe is a brown boot. I looked for a nice brown boot this winter. I couldn't find anything that worked, so I didn't buy. It is a gap. I struggled with it this winter. It's on my list, and it's going to be one of the first things I'm looking for when we come to sort of the end of autumn time next year. So again, knowing that gap, having done that audit, knowing that that's what I should be looking for, I have been looking for it, and I haven't compromised. I haven't just gone out and bought any old thing. I haven't found what I wanted. I've managed through this winter without it. It continues to be a gap, and I'm going to look for it next year. Okay, the next video will be on short boots, so I'll see you next time.